Hello everybody and welcome to the Action Figuratorium. You can see it here behind me. It is glorious. It's right back over there. Anyways, my name is Mark Major. I'm a real big toy collector here in Southeast Portland, hunkered down as I like to think from all the kind of weirdness that is out there. And I have just watched the live stream presented by 4Horsemen Studios. That's the studios that makes Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions, a couple of fantasy and space action figure lines, which I really enjoy. I have multiple figures from both of these lines. And they just did a live stream in which they introduced another product line called Infinite Legions. And I thought maybe we should talk a little bit about it, because is this really a new action figure line, or is it really just more Cosmic Legions? So everybody come together, strap on the leather, and of course you know what to do, people. Hold on tight. I'm going to start off by giving you guys just the slightest hint of backstory. Most people know a lot of this, but some of you maybe don't. And so it's always good to get a bit of backstory. There is a existing line of toys out there by, and here, let's do this, by Onell Designs, called Glyos. And Glyos are 2.5-inch action figures, and they have swappable parts. So you buy the figures and you can make new figures out of them, that kind of thing. And there's actually quite a few different companies out there, small indie companies, who make their own compatible figures that work with their system. And I have some of these. In fact, I did a Kickstarter covering one of them, Mighty Maniacs. I actually bought one of the blank figures. I've got it back there. Going to do a repaint with it this summer. Looks like a lot of fun. Okay, so what a lot of people don't know is that when the 4 Horsemen were going to launch their very popular Mythic Legions line, they were originally going to be in the 4-inch scale, but they were going to use sort of the Glyos system of swappable parts. And if you go to this interview from 2014 February on itsalltrue.net, which, by the way, I don't really know if it's all true, they actually talk about this 4-inch line, and you can see some of the photos. And if you're looking at these guys, you may recognize these figures. Some of you may even own these figures, but these are little 4-inch guys, okay? Now, what happened was the 4 Horsemen ended up going to the 1/12 scale 6-inch line. Why? Well, I believe what I've heard was that when you look at the production cost to make a 4-inch figure and a 6-inch figure, on the production side, it was only a few big bucks more to go 6-inch, but you can charge so much more, and you can get much more detail into it. You can make it much more of an exotic, bigger beast for not much more money on the production side, and get more money out of it on the retail side. Seems like a good way to go. Also, it just happens to shoehorn in beautifully with these other really popular 1/12 scale lines, like the Marvel Legends and the Star Wars Black series. And so people really like to collect in size and scales. They kind of want the action figures to all be able to exist in the same universe if they want to. And so it was a good move by the 4 Horsemen. I applaud this good move. I think it was actually one of the best things they came up with. Although I would love to have had 4-inch Mythic Legions myself just as much as the 6-inch guys. I think it was the correct move. Now, what they have done recently is they have announced a new toy line called Infinite Legions, and here is the live stream. And basically what the idea of Infinite Legions is they're going to go back to the original Onell designs of the Glyos figures, right? The characters that they came up with, and they're going to recreate them in the Mythic Legions, Cosmic Legions scale, the 1/12 scale, using some existing parts and maybe some new parts, essentially make new characters based on someone else's property that exists in their universe, and essentially the Cosmic Legions universe. And you'll be able to take Cosmic Legions parts and swap them with these Infinite Legions. All that kind of stuff is now available to the people who want to get into this sort of, mixing and matching. It's always been there, though, but now they're really sort of leaning heavily into it, making that kind of the, because that was the thing with the Glyos, so they really want to make that one of the main features, and I think that that's a good move as well. Okay, just in case there was any doubt, here's a little graph that I found on Reddit where somebody was pointing out the difference between Cosmic Legions, Mythic Legions, Infinite Legions, Figure Obscura, and basically this is where they say all the stuff that I just said, that they're compatible with the other figures, but they're based on, you know, the Glyos system, that sort of thing. So this is something that, let's go back to this shot here. This is something that the 4Horsemen have done before in the past, where they've taken existing character toy lines and then they do their spin and remake them. They did it for Mattel not once but twice. They did it with DC Classics. They came out amazing. They did it with Masters of the Universe Classics. Those are totally phenomenal. Those are like probably some of the most sought after collectible action figures out there. And now they're doing it with, we're doing it with these guys. Also, they did it with the Power Lords. Here is an eBay auction for one of the original 1982 Revell Power Lords, and then here is kind of the 4Horsemen's version. So you can see that this is something these guys are good at. This is something they've done quite a few times, and this is not a big leap for them. This is just a natural thing for them to do. Now, here is the question. Here's the question. A lot of us have been watching the Cosmic Legions line, and we don't think that it's particularly doing well. That is, we just don't think that it's scratching the itch of what collectors are looking for. And I made a video all the way back to August 5th, 2024, so almost a year ago, in which I asked the question, is this line doing well or is it tanking? Because I looked at some reseller prices of some of the figures and I found that they were going for less, brand new on eBay, less than what you would have had to pay had you pre-ordered it from the 4Horsemen, which means there's a huge supply and no demand. And I said in this video, right, I said that, well, I think the reason for this is because with fantasy figures, we all kind of know what the fantasy worlds are, regardless of whether it's from J.R. Tolkien, or if it's from Jack Vance, or if it's from Fritz Lieber, or if it's from Michael Moorcock. Whoever these people are that are making these fantasy worlds, we don't need an introduction. We kind of get it. We know what an orc is. We know what an elf is. We know what an ogre is. We know what dwarves are. We know what trolls are. We know what knights are, right? We understand all of these things. And so if you make an archetypical figure based on these sort of simple ideas, it's going to go over. But when you do space opera, right, you really have to go in and define who's who. A Bugman, is he bad? Is he evil? Is he friend of humans? What are they? You know, and like all these characters that they come up with for the Cosmic Legions in their space opera, it really needs a very, very strong background story to hold it together. You can't just make archetypes. They just don't work. We don't get it. We don't understand what Bugmen are. You're going to have to tell us. And even if you do tell us and we go like, well, that's stupid, then it's even worse, right? Because now there's prejudice against the action figures based on a bad story and not upon the design, okay? So if you don't believe me, let's go over to the world's greatest podcast, the 3PO podcast. This was streamed 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago they streamed this, May 17th only. And we're going to listen to a short clip, a 37-second clip of these guys talking about Cosmic Legions. And these are the real Toy Bros, okay? I know you've seen other Toy Bros out there. Fake. These are the real cats, all right? So let me douse my audio and I'll turn their audio up and let's just listen for a bit, shall we?
When do you think they pull the plug on Cosmic? After one more wave, two more waves?
I really hope they just pull it now, man. Like all of the ones that they've made are on really deep sale. Like they're all in stock on their site right now. Like take a fucking hint.
No
like,
one wants Cosmic, huh?
No one wants.
No,
I love Cosmic.
I go to show. I like a few of the figures a lot. I've been to shows where they vend at, and I would say I try to observe things just for my own person, just so if I talk about it like I am now, I'm not a dipshit.
Right.
I like to look at what people buy, and I'm curious. When do you think they pull the plug on Cosmic after one more wave?
All right, so there you have it. There are some cats talking about it, and they're saying essentially what I said a year ago, that this toy line is tanking. So why would the 4Horsemen now go into launching this Infinite Legions? Well, for one, it takes a couple years from the minute you start a design until which it actually gets fulfilled, and along the way, of course, you're going to want to build hype so that you can get pre-orders. And this is something that was started back a long time ago. They didn't just start this yesterday. It's been in the pipeline for a long time. Obviously, since I showed you that interview from 2014, they have been thinking about the Glyos figures forever, for over 10 years, right? Which means that this is actually an idea they've had for a really long time. They're just waiting for some sort of window of all these other ideas to come together before they could bring this out. And the question is, what is this thing going to, what are these infinite legions? And they showed off more than just this one figure. They showed off, this guy looks, you know, and they look pretty cool. There's this guy, hold on, this, check this out, this brain guy, right? They showed this guy. So these guys definitely look cool. Is this maybe what they should have launched Cosmic Legions with? Is this a little late to the table? Should they have actually already gone in this direction and done this? Or is just more good space fantasy for people who love space fantasy? Is this going to be a hit? Is this going to be not a peg warmer, but a warehouse shelf warmer, we're going to call it? What is going to happen to these guys in terms of like what's going on with Cosmic Legions? Is it all going to end up discounted on the eBay as I saw a lot of the other figures? These are all questions that I do not know the answer to. I cannot guess, but I would love to hear as many comments as I could from you, the audience, on where you think this is going, the roadmap, etc. This is a great discussion. Want to hear from as many people as I can, and I'll try and chime in. So thanks to everybody who made it this far into the video. I think you get all the big ideas, which means you can, on your own time, you can like and you can subscribe, but everybody together, let's stay charged.